This summer has been really intense. The heat, the drought, a brand new garden that's still finding its balance. There have been some wonderful successes for sure, but also quite a few setbacks. But we'll save that story for the next video. For now, let's focus on something a little more positive. What to do with all the food when the garden starts producing more than we can actually eat. Before we get into that, don't forget to turn on the notifications if you'd like to know when a new video goes live. I'm trying to upload every other week, although I'm afraid I may occasionally miss a week over the coming months. Since moving from weekly uploads, I've noticed that new videos don't really reach as many of you as they used to, so perhaps turning on notifications will help you catch the next one. One of the things I've been learning about this year is how to preserve the food that we grow. I've already been drying herbs, storing root vegetables somewhere cool, and freezing some of our harvest. But there's another method I've been wanting to explore: canning. There are actually two very different methods, and it's important to understand the difference, but let's start with water bath canning. The basic idea is quite simple. You fill clean jars with your food, seal them with canning lids, and place them in boiling water. The water heats the contents of the jars around 100 degrees Celsius, or I believe to 112 Fahrenheit, while the air inside the jar is driven out and the jar forms a vacuum as it cools. Done correctly, this creates a shelf-stable product that can last for a very long time. It's a great method for things like pickled vegetables, jams and other fruit preserves, and naturally acidic foods such as tomatoes can sometimes also work. But there's one very important limitation. Boiling water isn't hot enough to reliably destroy the spores of Clostridium botulinum. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the bacterium responsible for botulism. Botulism isn't something you're likely to encounter often, but when it does occur, it can be extremely serious. And that's why water bath canning is only considered safe for foods that are sufficiently acidic, generally with a pH of 4.6 or lower, and why tested recipes and proper processing times are so important. Also keep in mind that this processing time is dependent on your altitude. Many people forget this, so check this in the recipe you're using just to be safe. And that's water bath canning for you. In this video I'm canning zucchini pickles, made with a brine of equal parts water and 6% white wine vinegar, some mustard, onion, garlic, black pepper and va du vent. It's an Indian-French fusion of herbs and spices, and I also add a little sugar. What I also add is a bit of beet to one of the jars and a little bit of olive oil at the end. Not much, and this is important as too much oil can disrupt the canning process, but just a little olive oil is a very common tradition here in the region as it balances the strong acidity just a little. I would highly recommend pickling zucchini. It's absolutely amazing. But what if you want to preserve something that isn't acidic enough for a water bath? Well, that's exactly where pressure canning comes in. But before I get into all that, I want to say a big thank you to Pressure Canning Products for sending me the can-made pressure canner and all the accessories I needed to try pressure canning for the first time. On their website, you'll also find detailed information regarding the pressure canning process and how to do it safely, as well as all the tools I'm using to do the pressure canning in this video. And for those of you with a very sharp eye for details, you may have noticed I also used the can-made for the water bath canning, which it's also perfectly suited for. Before we can pressure can anything, we need to make something to actually can. And for pressure canning, I'm sticking to tested recipes and processing instructions from reliable sources such as the USDA, the Ball Blue Book, or the recipe book provided by Pressure Canning Products. Today, I'm making a simple tomato sauce from all the tomatoes the garden has been providing us, together with some garlic, onion, and also some basil and oregano from the garden. Pressure canning works on a completely different principle. Instead of boiling water, the sealed can traps steam and builds pressure inside. That increased pressure allows the temperature inside the canner to rise well above the normal boiling point of water. The higher temperature, when combined with the correct pressure and processing time, makes it possible to safely preserve certain low-acid foods that cannot be safely processed in a water bath. That includes things like many vegetables, meats, stocks, and even complete meals. There's also some recipes that you can choose to either water bath can or pressure can, but the pressure canning saves a lot of time processing. For me, canning is just a really great way to preserve our harvest, cut down on waste, and have nutritious food available throughout the entire year. And perhaps one of the biggest advantages is that once it's properly canned, it doesn't need freezer space, refrigeration, or even electricity. It just sits there on the shelf, ready for whenever you might need it. It's also incredibly efficient. Rather than preserving a little bit every time you harvest something, you can have a few big canning days throughout the season, and you're done. But for me, it's not really about canning just for the sake of it. There's just something particularly satisfying about taking ingredients we've grown ourselves and turning them into something that can sit on a shelf for months to come. That's what canning is really about for me. It's not just about preserving food. It's about preserving a little bit of summer. The tomatoes, the herbs, the long hot days in the garden. All packed into a jar that we can open months from now when the garden is quiet and winter has taken over. And perhaps that's my favorite thing about learning to preserve food. The work you do today becomes a gift to your future self. So with the jars processed and safely sealed, that's where we'll leave things for today. Next time, we'll finally talk about how this summer has actually gone in the garden, the successes, the failures, the heat, the drought, all of it, and everything I've learned along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.